Soccer League on Bright House Sports Network. Tonight, Alex Morgan and the Orlando Pride trying to even their record at 5-5 as they return home to face the Houston Dash. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Orlando. I'm Austin Lyon. Thank you so much for joining us for the first of 4 Pride matches you can see here on Bright House Sports Network. I'm joined tonight by USF head coach Denise Schulte-Brown and Eddie Rodriguez. Guys, Orlando is a team desperate for a victory, 3 consecutive losses, and they've gone scoreless in all of those matches.
I believe tonight's the night. They're going to get the victory. They're at home. It's their turf. They're comfortable with the setting. They know the size of the pitch. They understand how the turf runs. I think tonight's the night.
That's right. It's about putting it together. You mentioned the fact that they're playing at home. It's a huge advantage. But for them, it's a team that had different injuries, player call-ups for the national team. But I think they're going to put it together here at home.
Orlando, the only team in the league this year to win all of their home matches. Pride just finished a 4-game road trip. Tonight starts a run of 4 consecutive games at home. Big names for the Pride are up top and in goal. World-class talent in Alex Morgan and Ashlyn Harris.
Alex Morgan is home tonight, and I just love what Coach Sermani is doing. He continues to stay true to her abilities. He continues to find partners that will feed her, to get her into the space, to feed her in the box. And I think, as he mix and matches those ones, he still always keeps 2 up there with her and really tries to get the best out of Alex. And I think we'll see that tonight.
For Ashlyn Harris on the other side, a goalkeeper with a great experience with the national team youth system. For her now, it's about keeping that clean sheet at home, getting it done at home, and it all starts from defense. It all starts at home tonight.
Houston is without reigning FIFA Player of the Year, Carly Lloyd. She's got a sprained MCL. But Morgan Bryant, an emerging star for U.S. soccer.
Or a star already. She's one of my favorite players for the U.S. national team. She was the link, and as the U.S. national team grew, even through the run in the World Cup, she grew. And I think that, Houston is still trying to find themselves, unfortunately for them. But I do believe that once they do, it's going to be through Morgan Bryant, because she's going to be the connector for him. She's the link.
This is the 3rd meeting of the year between Houston and Orlando. Pride won the first 2 matches, hoping for similar success tonight. It's the Pride and the Dash opening kickoff from Camping World Stadium when you come back. Orlando and Houston ready to go at it here on a Thursday night in Central Florida. Let's show you the starting 11s for both teams, beginning for the visiting Dash. Brazil's Poliana is a rock defensively. She started all 9 matches this year for Houston. Ireland's Denise O'Sullivan gets a chance at center mid tonight, and up top, Rachel Daly leads the team with 5 points. She has a goal and 3 assists. Starting 11 for Orlando, Monica and Steph Catley have played every minute of every match this season. Kristen Edmonds, terrific in the midfield. She scored the only goal when these teams met back on May 20th. And Alex Morgan up top, flanked by Whitteman and Jamia Fields, who makes her first start of the season for Tom Sermani. We are definitely in the heart of summer in Central Florida, a muggy June evening Heat index just below 100 as we get set for kickoff here at Camping World Stadium. Pride in all purple. The Dash with orange jerseys, orange shorts as we get set to go. Orlando, 12 points, 5th place in the NWSL standings. Houston, 9th place out of 10 teams in the table. Referee is Marco Vega, and away we go on a Thursday night here in Orlando.
Austin, both teams come out with a 4-3-3, and of course, when you talk about a field that's every bit of 120 yards by 80, and you're playing 3 across, it's going to be interesting to see the matchups right away. And of course, when you're playing at home, that's a huge advantage. But you got to be able to have the width up and down. As you know, anytime you play a system, you're going to give up something. The question is, what are you willing to give when you're playing at home?
Fields applying pressure on the far side of the field, earns a throw in for Orlando. This is the biggest stadium in the league, biggest field in the league. And these players, Denise, not necessarily used to competing on turf.
No, I think it's a really big adjustment. I mean, whether you're in the pro game, the college game, it doesn't matter. It's a really big advantage. The ball bounces differently. It runs faster. I think it's a huge advantage.
Everything in the first minute on the far side of the field. Morgan Bryan, who we profiled in the open with a touch. In the middle, some space for Kristen Edmonds. Chips it up top. Morgan with the header, and it's flicked over the touchline.
Oh, again, look at the way that they feed into Alex, just popping it over top into space. That's where she's the most dangerous. It's a great ball.
And that's a great diagonal run as well. When you talk about going into the box, she looks up, plays a great ball. Morgan, look at her hit it one time. And of course, the keeper does a good job closing the space and closing that gap.
It was Edmonds setting up Morgan. Edmonds was essentially a throw-in as part of a trade Orlando executed. And Tom Sermani told us earlier in the week that she has proven to be their best and most consistent player. A big surprise for the Pride thus far.
I'm excited to see how Tony does back there. She has another Florida State player up top, and she has this extremely dangerous weapon and she just tried to use it there, but strong diagonal ball.
Presley with that wicked left foot, one of the native Central Floridians on the Pride roster. Presley played at West Shore High in Melbourne. Goalie Ashlyn Harris out of Satellite. Both these teams really trying to find a rhythm offensively as that's headed back into the box. Morgan fighting for it, crosses it, but no Pride players are there.
Well, right now Houston is very stretched out, and I don't think this is the way they are going to capitalize on any opportunities being this stretched out, and you can see that Orlando is taking advantage of it right now.
Yeah, did a good job putting pressure on the ball right there. Keeper tried to clear the ball out of the back. Orlando won it, and right away they went forward, of course, with the top goal scorer at front on Well,
just outside the 6 and to the feet of Lydia Williams, Houston goalkeeper. He's played every minute of every game for the Dash. Orlando hasn't scored in 3 games. Houston scoreless in 4 straight.
Yeah, that's got to be tough mentally just to get over that hump. So I think the first goal in this match is going to be critical for either team.
Kalia Ohai wins the ball for Houston and carries it forward. Right on top of the box, she gets it to Rachel Daly, and the offside flag is up.
And Austin, I think that was one of the concerns for Coach Hermani is how do you create, so we see this offside once again, right there by the time she touches the ball. Of course, her teammates, it's offsides, but how do you create chances, especially at home? How do you come back and how do you create chances, especially with playing with only 3 in the middle? And of course, that's something they've been doing in practice, trying to just get that cohesiveness. And you talk about it's a matter of getting used to each other, more playing times, and more quality minutes.
A long ball from Harris. Jamia Fields able to win it.
Oh, here's an opportunity.
Space in the middle of the field. Morgan Bryan just got a piece of that with her foot to keep it away from Kristen Edmonds.
And there's that high pressure again that I was talking about from Orlando. The problem with high pressure in this big field is you don't want to go too early because then you're going to give up the legs.
You can see how Morgan Bryan, every time she's touched the ball so far, she has not turned it over. She is just incredible in possession, and if they continue to link through her, could be some opportunities.
And that's one of the things that you had talked about in the intro, her ability of not giving the ball away, especially with a national team. When you have a player of that caliber, you can go through every time and you know she's not going to give the ball away. She can play negatively and it's okay, but as long as you don't give the ball up.
Yeah, they got to use her though a lot.
Brian, the youngest member of last year's U.S. Women's World Cup team, started in midfield the last 3 matches of the tournament, had an assist in the final against Japan. Presley to Steph Catley along the near sideline. The Australian with an excellent tackle. Play on from Marco Vega.
I think Catley's just trying to find her feet. She misread a service earlier, turned over a ball, but she'll catch her rhythm. She's been really steady for the team.
And talking about that rhythm, Denise, as you know, the first 5 minutes of every game are crucial, especially as you mentioned when you're playing in turf. Totally different surface. The speed of it is a lot quicker. So not only are you playing away, but you got to get your feet, you got to get your rhythm into your team. Try to do it as quick as you can.
There's the service from Daly, right to the edge of the 6. A great opportunity headed over the crossbar by Denise O'Sullivan.
I think the Orlando defenders got caught watching the ball. She snuck into the back post.
And watch this replay. That's a great driven ball by O'Sullivan. Just drives the ball to the far post, right on a platter for that header. Actually, O'Sullivan should have done better on that header. She was all by herself, nobody marking her, and I think that was Mady Evans on that side. That was her player.
You saw a little bit of that personality that you talked about with Ashlyn Harris. You see her come alive there and let her teammates know that that's not all right.
And you need that, right, Denise? You need your goalkeeper to keep you honest. That's what we talked about in the game. Can you keep you honest? And as a goalkeeper, you got to put them on the line and say, hey, that is not acceptable, especially in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Absolutely.
Ashlyn Harris, one of 24 players named to the U.S. national team for training for the Olympics rather in Rio. Just turned up the near sideline by Ojai. Daly for O'Sullivan, right back to Taylor. And the 3rd time Houston has been whistled for offside.
You know what? She started to make that run. She hesitated to try to stay onside, but as she continued to follow through, it was just a little bit of a late ball, but very dangerous run.
Yeah, it's a great idea, as you mentioned. Very dangerous run. And give credit once again, Toni Presley. The first, she had the great cross, and once again, she flicks the ball, chick a little flick, but she was just a bit late, but that's the play. So Orlando City, as you mentioned, Denise, they got to tighten up those spaces in the back. You cannot give that through ball away.
Presley, a player who has really elevated her play. Took her a while to understand Tom Sermanni's system, but now making her 5th consecutive start after not playing in the first 4 matches.
And you can see her voice, you can see her leadership back there. She's a great center back.
I'd like you to join the conversation with us on social media during tonight's match. We are at DHSN on Twitter. Hashtag tonight is ORLVHOU. Share your thoughts on the first of 4 Orlando Pride matches for you here in the next month on Bright House Sports Network.
I don't know how you guys are feeling. I mean, the center backs are keeping that line tight, and they've caught them off sides 3 times. But if they let one of those loose, the Pride is in a lot of trouble.
Denise, as you know, and you live and die by the sword. As you mentioned, you've pulled it off 3 times, but all it takes is one of your center backs or your fullbacks to be off, and then you're off to the races 1-on-1. It's a good thing for the Pride that you have Harris in the back, but you know what? You cannot keep doing that because, you know, even if the linesman doesn't call it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's risky.
Presley knocks it to the feet of Poliana, one of 2 Brazilian national team players on the Houston roster. Countrywoman Monica starting for Orlando. To the outside, first time we've called the name of Chioma Bogagu. That left foot to the top of the 6, it's headed out by Catley.
I think Bogagu could have done a little bit better on that service. It was she had a lot of time on the ball there. She's got to pick a player out when she serves the ball.
Poliana back into the attacking 3rd for Houston. Catley taps it out, and here's Whitteman.
And look how far forward Poliana is playing out of the right fullback for Houston. I like the fact that she loves to go forward and she can serve the ball as well. The problem with that is if you get cut up going forward, you're leaving your team with 3 in the back, and when you have Alex Morgan with her speed, that's asking for trouble right there.
It is. I do like her as a player, though, and she's a little unorthodox, being the tallest in the back line as your outside back, and being so crafty with her feet for her height. She's very unique.
25 years old, 43 caps for Brazil.
And you're right, not a typical fullback size-wise, right? You think somebody 5'3", 5'4", having the ability to go from 18 to 18.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Catley's touch got past Becky Edwards. Giving chase and winning it is Fields. Got Morgan on her right, gets it to her. Morgan with a difficult angle, and it's over the goal.
You know,
that's exactly what I was talking about, just having the ability to steal the ball. You have Alex Morgan going with a great run. She gets the ball, now she gets the shot off. But watch, that just came out from a steal. 3 Houston players, they lose the ball, they get in trouble, and they have to be careful with that.
And she had to slow her down, her run down slightly, so she was a little off balance, and it was her right foot, but I think on her lefty that would have been a bit more dangerous.
This is the first start of the season for Fields. She's only played in 3 matches entering tonight, but her speed providing some chances for Orlando early.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, she's explosive, but also, you know, she drew the defender. She dribbled at the center back, allowed Alex to open up, and then, you know, fed her. It was a great ball.
Yeah, you did have a good point, though. That ball could have been a little bit in front of Alex Morgan. Instead, it was a little bit behind, slowing her down. And, of course, her not being a predominantly right-footed, had to slow down and force the shot with a little bit of a less angle.
Whitteman tracks it down for Orlando. Fields has space. That terrific ball. Ballonge coming up to Morgan's head, and it's just over the crossbar.
Oh, that was exciting. And what a build-up. What a combination. 4 different players touched the ball before the perfect serve from Jose into Morgan, and I think that should have been a goal. What do you think?
That's right. And once again, starts from field. Want to get around the defender, and Alex Morgan with a sitter. But look, the movement on and off the ball here for Orlando. Great ball. Alex Morgan does a great job anticipating the defender. Unfortunately, she doesn't say yes to the ball, point the head down, and the ball just goes right over the bar.
But Orlando getting some early looks.
And I think once again that's coming because of the high pressure they're putting on the Houston defense. They're once again, look, they're not able to keep the ball. They're giving it away, and that's just, they're waiting for that.
I don't know if it's Fields' anticipation or if they're just misplaying the ball in her area, but she has intercepted 3 passes that have become quite dangerous.
Catley, quick touch for Edmonds. Whitteman in the middle of the field. Lost possession to Bryan. Regained by Orlando. Here's Evans.
Good decision by Evans to go backwards. That's where her numbers were, and there wasn't much movement up top.
Evans has it back toward Morgan at the top of the 18.
There's that explosiveness from Alex.
And when you're playing in the back, you have a forward chasing you. They cut your space and your time. So now you're forced to play the ball out of the back without having the time to play a decent ball, especially on turf. And that thing, you know, one of the problems that Houston's having, they're not having the ability to play the ball early enough and not great balls because of the turf.
Look at the risk Orlando's taking here. They are really 2v2 in the back. You know, confidence. You could say it's a risk, or you could just say they're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
The 2 outside defenders for Orlando, Catley and Bellangé, both like to go forward and have great ability offensively.
Yeah, it can be a positive and a risk, right? Sometimes they're going together.
Here is the Australian Catley.
This has been some great possession by Orlando. Some of the best I've seen from them.
Yeah, much better in the first half here, you know, and probably one of the best I've seen throughout the season too. You mentioned they're a little more composed. You can tell they're actually starting to play together, run for each other, and more importantly, running off the ball as well, creating chances and showing up for the ball.
Yeah, all 3 midfielders are showing well. There's always an option.
Bellangé just got her foot on it to get that ball back to the midfield stripe.
Another great possession.
Presley back to Monica. Mostly started in the midfield this year, but moved to the back line for tonight's game.
Rico Fields has a one-on-one opportunity. Can she take advantage?
Taking on Becca Moros, sending it toward Whitteman. The referee comes in with a whistle and a foul against the Pride.
Yeah, she gets called from a push from behind, but once again, great job from Orlando putting those passes together. Field gets down to the line, looking for that far post. Of course, she's a little bit late on that push. Whitteman gets called for the foul. And once again, Denise, one of the things that Coach Tom Sermani talked about is playing out of the back. Can we get the ball out of the back while keeping possession and then trying to get some chances going forward?
And they're doing great at it right now. And I like what Fields did. She slowed the game down enough to get some runners in the box and then picked out a player. It's her second pretty dangerous service of the game. So she's done well so far.
16th minute here at Camping World Stadium. No score between Houston and Orlando. Both teams have had some chances offensively, and that's been a huge issue for both of these squads, trying to create chances.
You know, it's not easy to take advantage of your first start. There's a lot of things going on in your head. There's a lot of pressure, and so far Fields has done a really good job with this opportunity.
Well, she does have the ability, or the advantage rather, with that speed, and of course we know that speed kills. When you have that much speed, you have a lot more time to think about what you're going to do, especially when you steal the ball. So, but you're right though, she's done taking great advantage of her first start.
Here's a counterattack.
Rachel Daly trying to play it out wide to Abogugu. Abogugu attacking Evans. 3 defenders around her, and she loses possession.
Great numbers behind the ball for Orlando. You can see that block of 6 right there. It's not easy to get behind that many players.
Yeah, because Abogugu, she's got the speed as well. She's got that left foot, so if you're Orlando, you got to keep an eye on her.
Oh, here we go. Can we see that speed?
Fields unable to win the foot race. Play back to Lydia Williams.
You can see the difference. Houston's midfielders are a little bit stagnant right now, so the defenders are looking up. They're not seeing any options, where Orlando, when the defenders are looking up, they're seeing 2 or 3 options in the midfield.
Morgan settles. Couldn't get it back to Whitteman. Here's Edmonds with a left-footed shot. On frame and handled by Williams.
And to complement your point, Denise, you know nothing more, you know, as a defender that you're trying to look up and there's no options, and all of a sudden you're being pressured by Alex Morgan, her speed, and all of a sudden Fields is coming at you. So now you're forced to kick the ball outfield without any direction, and that's how you're giving the ball up.
Yeah, when they're pressing like this, you need more options, right?
And if you're, you know, center mids, outside players from Houston are not showing, they're going to be in trouble.
Here's Kalia Ohai. Back to the top of the box. Daly unable to get that ball down and get a foot on it. And Orlando looking to counter with Whitteman.
Oh.
Square ball, bad way or bad spot on the field to give the ball away. Because now here comes the counter for Houston.
5th time the Dash have been offside. Harris came scrambling out, but the flag was up on Rachel Daly.
Oh, it was, but again, risky. I mean, it's just going to take one of those. But like you said, Ashlyn high out of her box, she is definitely a good security blanket for them.
And you almost feel that she needs to be on the 18 because they're playing so flat across those. Yeah. And sometimes it's 3, not even 4 across, because one of the fullbacks is releasing. So, as you mentioned, they're playing really flat. So I would like her to play almost on the 18 to come out.
Yeah. And you see Morgan Bryant, she's got to be very, very fit. She makes a lot of runs, a lot of third man running, but every time you look up, she's back in the midfield. So again, I'd like to see them take advantage of her a little bit more.
Bryan was a 2-time winner of the Herman Trophy, given to the nation's best female college soccer player. Only the 5th person in history to repeat as winner of that award. Join the likes of Mia Hamm.
It's incredible.
Abogugu had a chance at it. 2 Houston offensive players were close to that ball.
And there's what Denise and I have been talking about. Just one great ball from Houston. Just was able to beat the whole line of 4 from Orlando. A little bit too far, but if you hit the ball the right way, there was 2 forwards. Abogugu right by herself. The ball just trickled away a little bit, and Harris stayed on her line.
I personally think I'd be getting nervous now. I'd be screaming at my center backs to just drop a little bit quicker.
You're right, and all you want is just one of the center backs to drop just a few steps.
Yeah.
That was during the run of play, but it had the look of a set piece.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, can he get some more movement from the midfield out of Houston to give some options?
Both of these teams with significant turnover in the lineup. This is the 8th game this year that Orlando has used a different lineup, 8th time in 10 games.
And on the other side for Houston too, when things are not going your way, and Denise, you and I talked about it in the intro as well, is as a coach, you got to figure out what's going to work and what combinations of players and who's going to get the job done. At the end of the day, this is professional soccer, so and that contributes what so many changes and so many things are happening for them.
And you know what? Maybe Randy's he's trying to make a statement to his team. You know, we haven't gotten the job done in 4 games. We haven't scored a goal. Nobody is safe. And, you know, maybe now's the time to do it. They got to figure things out soon and find an identity where you've said there's a lot of changes in Orlando's lineup, but I still feel like they have an identity, a rhythm, and a way that they're trying to execute things.
Tom Sermanni, a coach who values possession, wants to build the attack. And we've seen Orlando possess the ball better tonight than they have in some of their previous matches.
In any of them, I think. This is the best possession bit that I've seen out of them. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think for them it's a matter of they've played a little bit more, you know, more games, and it's just a matter of the players really meshing together now. And Denise, as you know, is the more you play together, the more you get that starting lineup, starting 11. You know, there's always going to be a few variations because of injuries or call-ups or whatever, but just the identity of the team has got to be there. What system are you playing, you know, from the coaching standpoint, and then you got to bring the players that are going to get it done.
Yeah. And so far, this midfield 3 seems to have a real relationship with each other that works.
No run for Houston as the ball is sent toward Harris. Becky Edwards will bring it up for the Pride. Presley opts for Catley.
Very confident on the ball, Tony.
Presley played for Houston a year ago. Against some of her former teammates here tonight. Evans loses her footing. Edmonds right there to back it up.
And there was that drive, Denise, that you were talking about from Presley all the way to the other side. And I think that could be the key for this Orlando team. If she can play that diagonal ball or even a through ball all the way to Alex Morgan on top, an early ball that you can slide through the midfield and a couple of the back line that can do some damage.
I think Houston was prepared for her. You can see when she's on the ball, that back four is dropping off. They're not going to give her that diagonal ball. But that was an incredible ball. She hit it with ease to the outside back. You don't see that a lot in the female game. It was really nice.
O'Sullivan for Ojai. Oleana making a run along the near sideline, but Ojai couldn't get it to her. Now she dribbles around Whitteman. And Whitteman wins the ball back with an excellent tackle. Field surrounded and losing possession.
Everybody got a little banged up in that tackle, I think.
Just past the midway point of the first half. 24th minute here between Houston and Orlando. This is a really important stretch of 2 games for both of these teams. You have the Olympics on the horizon. Orlando will lose many of its top players to their respective countries to prepare for Rio, and then obviously to play in the games themselves. So important to get, you know, if not 2 results here, maybe a win and a draw to set the team in much better position.
No, you're right. They got to take advantage that they have their national team players right now. You see Alex Morgan in the box.
That was a ball from Tony, another long ball. Excellent into the flank area. Early service, and Alex, you know, really tries to take advantage of that. I'm kind of excited to see how the teams shake out when the internationals go. I think it, you know, a lot then comes down to coaching and how you've prepared for that. And, you know, of course, it's always exciting to have the national team players on the field, but I think there's something to be said about a team that can be successful when they're missing.
And of course, you're going to have to go back to, you know, hopefully a deep roster. They can only have 20 players, and I spoke to Coach Sermanni about it. He said, well, we have some amateur players training with us that they can be called up because, you know, when you're losing 5, that might be the case for Orlando. That's a deep hole in their, you know, their whole team.
Look at this possession. Honestly, this Orlando team looks like a different team. Really confident.
Edwards winning it for Orlando. 3 defenders around Catley.
They're playing some enjoyable soccer tonight, Orlando. I like it.
Yeah, you can tell they're playing with a lot more confidence. You know, we talked about the advantage of playing at home. I think they're using that to their advantage. They're keeping the ball. They're looking up. They're just playing. They're using the width. We see Presley switching the point of attack on the dime, and that's just a sign of confidence.
Tom Sermani, native of Scotland, 16-year career as a player, coached the Australian women's national team and the U.S. national team for a time. Met Phil Rollins while the U.S. national team was training here in Orlando. They forged a friendship, and the development of that friendship was a huge part of Orlando City's organization calling Sermani when they got this team, and they found the right man for the job.
Absolutely. And from everything I've heard, he's really a player's coach. The players have enjoyed him. He's really down to earth. He's just a really decent guy. So Orlando, I think, has done a great job in that hire.
Players with so many positive things to say about their interaction with Sermani thus far.
And of course, it makes a difference when you have the ability to connect with a coach. You know, you can, see eye to eye, be on the same page. You have that mutual respect, a coaching-player relationship. And of course, I think that's starting to show on the field. They're playing that brand of soccer that Coach Sermani wants to implement in this Orlando team.
And he's coached many of these players before, whether it be for the U.S. and Australian national teams. He was an assistant for Canada during the Women's World Cup, familiar with Bélanger. So those relationships helped him bring players to Orlando. Babogagu inside the box, lets it rip, and it is well wide.
You know, it's a huge advantage for those players. When you know what to expect out of a player, what their consistencies are, what they bring, it's just a lot easier for them and the coach to put a team together. So I think it was a big advantage to hire somebody that had that many connections in the league. Edmonds, I love how she gets a high starting point and then she comes back and joins. She gets a high starting point and then look at her, she's sitting in a really dangerous space right now, right there. That's incredible. And she turns it over, but her positioning has been excellent.
Well, she knows how to play with that center back. She goes, she comes back.
Here's Daly with a chance. Harris up to the task.
The line got caught, right?
That's it, and that's what I was talking about. You want to have the ability to have a big goalkeeper in the back, somebody who's going to keep you honest, and that's what Harris brings to this team, knowing that when your line got beat, watch again this ball through. Harris came out and just stole that because that was Houston's great chance.
Halea Ohai trying to work on 2 defenders. Harris snags that before it goes over the end line.
You know, she's been very dangerous out there, but she doesn't move from that area too much. So it's easy to keep an eye on her.
Harris in competition with Alyssa Nair for us to be Hope Solo's backup on the U.S. Olympic team. Nair, the keeper in Seattle. Both saw time during the international break.
I mean, without a doubt, either of those keepers would start for almost every country in the world.
I was going to say, any other national team, they'll be starters. With our national team, they're backup, and then the third goalie out. Or although I would say they're the backup, and it's just a matter of who's better,
yes,
that day. But at this level, at any time, anybody can play.
Ohai giving chase. Presley with a bit of a bump.
Yeah.
And Harris coming up near the top of the box to collect it.
And once again, Harris coming big. And you can tell Tony Presley had to throw a little bit of that shoulder on that through ball, and that's what Denise was talking about. Dangerous playing with that straight line. We see Tony Presley's pressing that shoulder, and of course, Ashlyn Harris just comes out to collect the ball.
Got an aggressive personality, and she is a very aggressive keeper.
Yeah, I love it. She's high in the box. She seems to read the game incredibly well. Her timing is impeccable. Here we go, Fields on the ball. And she get another great service. This is where she's been dangerous tonight.
1-on-1 with Moros. Right off the shin.
Good defending.
Of Houston's oldest player. And it'll be a throw-in for Orlando near the corner flag.
And to think that 31 is old.
Not old, just oldest.
Older.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Belanger will take the throw in for Orlando. Edmonds, Fields, Morgan all moving, trying to provide targets. Belanger unable to squeeze through a tight space.
It's like a bit of a foul to me.
Abogagu with the clearance, and now O'Sullivan. Leaving it for Daly. She's got great pace. That was one of the things that concerned Tom Sermanni coming into this game, was the pace of the Houston forwards.
And she's a slasher, and she continues to be relentless in her movement, so it's not easy to keep track of her.
Water break for the teams comes in the 31st minute.
You know, it's a team from Texas and Florida. I don't know that they needed the water break, but they're probably both really thankful they got one.
Orlando, one spot out of the postseason if the season finished today at 4-5, a chance to get back to 500. Houston in 9th place, 2-5-1 entering play tonight. And Tom Sermanni told us earlier this week that if they could win tonight and get to 5-5, he felt that at this point in the season, he would be very pleased with a 5-5 record.
Absolutely, and 4 games at home? I mean, what an exciting opportunity for Orlando. I'd love to see them get all 4 wins and really make a run at this, because the way they're playing tonight, they look like a team that could play with anybody.
And it's really truly that, where they are in the season, and the fact that they can turn it around by the way they're playing and get some results, they're in a good position right now, and I think they feel pretty good, pretty comfortable because of the way they've been doing things on the pitch.
40 days since their last home match, which came May 14th against Western New York. Went out on the road, really struggled to score. 3 consecutive games without finding the back of the net. Houston at 4 games plus now, more than 400 minutes without a goal for the Dash.
And whether you like it or not, and Denise, you know this, as a player, when you're a forward, that's in the back of your head. When you can count the minutes and you're struggling as a team to score goals. And when I spoke to Coach Sermanni, is, are you creating chances? That was one of his worries. We're not creating enough. So a lot of the times as a coach, when you're creating chances, you know it's just a matter of time before you put them away. But if you're not creating chances, then you're in trouble.
But Denise, it's not just about creating chances. You've got to have that quality in front of goal in order to be able to finish. And mentally, certainly some of the players have been affected by the scoreless drought.
They have that quality. I mean, Alex is really that deadly in front of goal. We've seen it time and time again, and we're seeing it tonight. What I'd have to say about their drought on the road is that it is really that hard to play on the road. These are professional women that are really used to their stadiums, and I think there's a lot to be said about winning on the road. It's very difficult.
Teams return from the water break with a throw in for Houston. Abogagu trying to keep it in along that far touch line.
Do you think we'll see a difference in their vigor after the water break?
Heat index near 100 when we kicked off tonight. Hard to believe that, according to the calendar, summer just started.
Yeah, it's flying by, that's for sure.
And he definitely makes a difference as a player, getting that hydration, especially it's only been 30 minutes, but you need that, especially with the humidity.
Ohai with a cross. Abogagu at the back post. Houston's had a couple of great opportunities on the back post. Neither have been on frame.
So Monica just got pulled across, and because she got pulled across, that pulled Jose in, and that left that open side wide open, and it was a great ball.
Yeah, a little bit too high. You can tell just a little bit uncomfortable. But once again, as you mentioned, Orlando got stretched out. Fullbacks have to be switched, and that is a dangerous thing to do because now you're chasing. And, you know, when you chase, you're out of position.
It actually started with Tony's tried to bring the ball down, which is great because they're trying to keep possession, but it bounced away from her, created a little bit of a counterattack that Monica handled well, but we do have to watch that back post. That's been 2 chances at that same area.
We have that saying in soccer, the far post, it's always open, meaning that it's behind the defender and you can make an outside run inside, and of course you can have that view as we saw in this last chance for Houston.
Yeah, saw that technical skill from Morgan Bryant, just using a little flick of the chest to keep possession.
Houston with a lot of trouble clearing the ball out of its own end because of Orlando's pressure. Evans, here's Morgan. Whitteman out wide, has all kinds of space. Evans and Morgan both in front of the goal. Morgan was calling for it and didn't get it, and the cross is headed out.
Good challenge.
Edwards will go to Edmonds. So good with chances on the ball this year toward Morgan.
Great effort.
And easily handled by Williams.
Eddie, have you noticed that the three midfielders have exceptional awareness of each other? Because you would have think that Edmonds was the attacking center mid the whole time, but you've been seeing that Evans has been rotating up top, and they just have an awareness of each other. They've been rotating well, and it really seems like a good combination. It's the first time, right, that they've had the three?
Right, it's the first time they had the three, but I think you're right. It's a matter of playing a little more minutes together, but you're right, one goes forward, and the other one automatically just stays home, staying, you don't want to send two players, and then you have that big hole in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, you can see Edwards is high now. I mean, it's not really just one of them working in that attacking area. It's three hard-working midfielders working together and getting the job done.
And I think that makes a difference playing 3-on-3 in this big pitch. You talk about, 60 yards, 80 wide, so you got to cover that huge width and only three players across.
Oleana earns a corner for Houston.
I would think that she's dangerous with the 5'9" frame.
This would normally be a spot for Andressa, and she is coming up to take the corner. It'll be her 18th most on the team this year.
Oleana can take advantage.
Talented Brazilian with a decent effort from the corner. Ryan heads it out, and a goal kick for Orlando.
It's a great effort on the header, but misdirected. You can see that's Jose halfway up the pitch there. Really trying to get involved in the attack.
O'Sullivan with a steal. Daly at the top of the 18, out wide for a Bogagoo. Low ball, Ballinger knocked it down and carries it forward for Orlando.
I like the work rate of Alex Morgan coming back to keep possession.
Yeah, way out of position though. I mean, look, she had to drop that far just to get the ball, play it back, and then spin out. But once again, and that shows you the need that the whole team is willing to work. When you see Alex Morgan tracking back that far to collect the ball, that tells you everybody's running.
Yeah, they're running on all cylinders right now, which is good.
Ballinger across the halfway line. A giveaway.
Although you can see that Daly continues to be dangerous on her slashing runs. She's pretty relentless with trying to get in behind. She's definitely the threat.
Oleana taking on Whitteman. Edwards got her foot on it. Sent forward, and another offside flag up. Tell Kealia Ohai knew that she was out of position, tried to step back, but the official on the near sideline caught it.
Yeah, but once again, the Orlando line is really flat, and we can see here how flat they are across. Yeah, she's offsides, but not by much.
It's good that Catley read that ball.
Absolutely, she read it, and she just kind of moved a little bit. But as you mentioned earlier, always going to take one great ball, and they're going to be through.
I do like these two center backs, and I think with some work, they'll could do a little bit better with reading those.
Throw in for Catley. To the feet of Edmonds, who goes back to Monica.
Tony Presley looks a little tired to me. I mean, it's very hot out there.
I would imagine as a coach, this is the stage in the half where your players have to be mentally focused 100%, given that you're not at your physical best after 40 minutes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Houston is lucky to be tied in this game, and if they could take advantage of that right now by popping in a goal, it would change the whole landscape.
Presley going to be challenged. Here's Morgan Bryan.
Very crafty on the ball. Did you see that?
Catley playing behind Presley. Good defending.
Bryan with great ability, taking one-on-one on the end line. You can tell she was go down the line and cross the ball. Dangerous, especially this late in the game. We talked about the fullbacks like Poliana going forward and how much they add to the offense of this Houston team coming out of the back.
I love how fast Morgan Bryant's feet are. Very dangerous. You can see those two forwards just hanging right on the edge, just trying to take advantage of that line.
Yeah, looking for that ball. They can just, you know, steal and then off the run.
Good turn.
Bogagou against Ballanger. Took a heavy touch there. Contact between Bogagou and Ballanger. And a foul called.
I like the matchup between the two. They're both really physical players, both explosive. They seem to be kind of nullifying each other so far.
Yeah, and that was a great turn. Trying to get to the end line to cross the ball, and of course she gets the call for the push. Referee close enough to call it. And of course, didn't like the call.
Oh.
We don't like the call from the refs anyway, so.
Ballanger contemplated retirement 4 years ago. It was her dream to play for the World Cup, play for the Olympics. And she was one of 18 players named to the Olympic team for Canada.
I actually think she was one of their best players in the World Cup. She was very dangerous, relentless going forward, and a really nice surprise. I don't think going into the World Cup anybody thought that she was going to be one of the stars, but she emerged as one of Canadians' best players.
I agree with you. I think she made up her mind going to the Olympics after all this time, wanting to be there, and I think she put the effort going forward, and she was really a difference maker for Canada.
Yeah.
Bogagou with just a sliver of space. O'Sullivan outside the top of the 18. Was off an Orlando City player. And a leaping grab made by Harris.
That could have been very dangerous deflection.
Very dangerous, and once again, Ashlyn Harris in the back, just so secure. She brings so much, great personality in the back. She commands the box, and really she hasn't been challenged, but you know, Orlando playing with fire a little bit.
She's so focused.
I think we would say in the first 15, 20 minutes, the Pride had the better run of play, but Houston has had it down the stretch. Here's Edmonds. Made a terrific turn, cross toward the top of the 6. Fields is there.
I love the second effort from Fields. And it was a great dummy by Edmonds to get end line. Definitely sold it.
And that's that connection once again from Edmondson. Evans, here we see going down line, great cross, looking for Alex Morgan. Doesn't quite get there. You talk about that second effort by Fields, you can tell she wants it. She just dives forward, trying to get a shot, trying to get that block, and that's just sacrificing from your team.
Absolutely.
Williams urging her teammates to get further up the field on the goal kick. Edwards with the header, and a throw in for Orlando.
As the half winds down, it's definitely starting to even out.
Expect that there will be 2 minutes of added time here at the end of the half. Roughly 4 minutes remain for these teams. Both have had chances, but no one has found the net thus far. Heavy touch by Whitteman for Morgan.
Great ball through by Jose.
Fields to Morgan. And it's played out by the dash defense. A corner kick coming up for Orlando.
But once again, the triangulation by Orlando, it's working. You can tell the 1-2s. Ball goes to Fields, finds a way to play the ball to Alex Morgan. She was on with 2 defenders, not able to get the shot up, but once again, they're doing great movement on and off the ball.
Yeah, it was the build that got them there. They went back to what they were doing well in the beginning of the game. That was a series of 5-6 passes that got them there.
Edmonds and Catley both over there. It'll be a quick first touch. Catley in the box. She's out of position now as Bogagou tries to start a break for Houston.
Like it was a set piece that we all weren't on the same page for there.
Yeah, you're right. Somebody missed their assignment, but you can tell it was definitely by design.
Yeah, it looked like Catley was supposed to receive that ball back.
Didn't quite work as planned.
Yep. I like the creativity. And look at them sitting in between the lines. Good ball by Evans.
Has it back from Morgan. A 1-2 with those two. Fields, who's had a productive half, making her first start of the season. Pride trying to get a goal late in the first half. Edwards with a giveaway.
7 yards offside, so.
That was so obvious, but once again, if Houston would have played that early ball, they would have been off to the races. You're right, by the time she touched it, she was at least 5 yards off.
I think I would be a little frustrated with her now. She needs to understand that that's what the line is doing and be a little bit more patient with her runs, because I think she's faster than both the center backs. So if she just holds that second, she's going to get behind.
And all you got to do, Denise, is recognize that, take a step behind. And as you mentioned, you know you have the wheels, you know you have the speed to beat both of them, especially when you have 50 yards to get to the goal.
Yeah, it was an opportunity if she had just kind of learned from the last three.
6th offside penalty against Houston in this first half. You saw the referee on the sideline put up the 2. So officially 2 minutes of added time. Daly.
There it was.
No flag up that time. The Orlando's Pride defenders thought the offside call was coming. Presley stopped moving.
And Austin, that's what Denise and I have been talking about. Just all he's going to take is one great through ball. That was the case. Orlando stopped, almost like saying, hey, it's offside. The referee let it on, and Houston almost had it.
And she learned from the last time, so that was good.
I think she might have heard you, Denise, when you say,
I
all you got to
think
do is
so.
stay back. Just watch this replay. She slows down a little bit, and that's what kept her on. You can tell right there, Toni Presley was looking for the outside, but she stutter stepped. That's what gave her the ability to stay onside.
And she is pacier than both those center backs. That was Catley again coming in to kind of get them out of trouble.
And if you add Austin points, then now they're getting fatigued. They're getting tired late in this first half, and it's just a matter of time for them to counter.
Maybe 30 seconds or so left in this opening half.
I really like how Becky Edwards sits just in the diagonal between their attacking center, mid, and target. Her positioning there really helps break them down.
I'll tell you what a great combination by Edwards, Evans, and Edmonds in the middle for Orlando. They've been just on.
Yeah, the 3 E's.
I think they finally found you're right, the 3 E's. And of course, when you have Alex Morgan on top, what else can you ask for? It's just a matter of time. Put it in the back of the net.
There's the whistle from Marco Vega. The scoreless streak continues. Tack on 45 minutes to 4 games for Houston, 3 games for Orlando. We are scoreless at halftime at Camping World Stadium between the Pride and the Houston Dash. Stay with us. Halftime festivities from Orlando when you come back. No score between Orlando and Houston here at halftime of the National Women's Soccer League on BHSN. Orlando Pride defender Toni Presley was an All-American at West Shore High School in Melbourne. She's one of 2 native Central Floridians on the Pride roster. And earlier this season, our Zach Aldridge had a chance to catch up with Melbourne's own Toni Presley.
The same thing she's done her entire life, excel on the soccer pitch. But the transition to playing with the brand new Pride wasn't an easy one for Toni Presley. She didn't log any minutes in the team's first 4 matches, a stark contrast from what she was used to.
Coming from teams where I've always started, I think that was a struggle, but also remembering that it's not just about me, that it's about the group and everyone in this long process. I think that just keeping that in mind helped me a lot and trying to stay positive.
Growing up in Melbourne, Presley made a name for herself playing for several U.S. youth national teams. That experience, combined with over 50 professional appearances under her belt, makes the 5'11" defender a very attractive option for head coach Tom Sermanni.
She brings real quality in possession. She brings a really good left-sided balance to our team at the back. She brings a great physical presence, and she brings just a real dominance in there that very few players in this league have.
Despite the encouraging words from Sermanni, it wasn't until the home match against Western New York that the West Shore grad finally saw the field of play.
She's replaced by number 3, Toni Presley.
It was very exciting, from the moment that they told me that I might be going in, just getting my mind right and focusing on the things that I want to do well and bring to the game, I think helped me out a lot, and, just getting my chance to show what I can do, and I think that I did that.
Presley is now a constant in the Pride lineup, playing a full 90 minutes in the team's 2 matches since New York. And with her confidence at a high, she's expecting big things from her team.
Keep winning. I think we have a really good team to be an expansion team, and I think that if we can put all the pieces together and keep winning and building, we have a very good shot, for the championship.
Excelling on the field, something her and her family back home in Brevard would be very proud of.
Who came first? Break.
Zach Aldridge, Bright House Sports Network.
Presley making her 5th straight start on the Orlando back line tonight and helping Ashlyn Harris keep a clean sheet for the first half. Pride and Dash scoreless at the break. Denise and Eddie will rejoin me for highlights and stats when you come back. No score between Orlando and Houston here on a Thursday night at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Let's take you through some of the highlights from the first half. Really separate halves within what we saw in the first 45 minutes. Orlando, a lot of chances early with Alex Morgan.
Absolutely. I thought that, they were really dangerous in combination. The midfield worked hard to find some really dangerous spots, and they fed the ball through to Morgan, and there was some good dangerous crosses. Every time they crossed the ball, they were picking players out, and I thought it was a matter of time before they were going to score, but then the tides changed a little.
And for Houston, pretty much has been about counterattack. That was a great cross right there from Daly, looking for the far post. And that was Sullivan with a header. And once again, they're trying to get that through ball through the middle, trying to separate the center backs. Once again, the Orlando line has been kind of flat, and they're trying to take advantage of that, trying to get to that end line, but they just haven't had the right touch.
Orlando playing a high line. That's shown in the amount of times that Houston has been called offside. 6 in that first half. Shots about even. 5 for Orlando, 4 for the Dash. Orlando trying to end a 3-game losing streak here tonight. Tom Sermanni really harped on his team being more aggressive in this game tonight. What is your assessment of their first half?
I think that Tom Sermanni's team tonight looks better than it has. Usually they're a little rushed in the game, and the turf is not the easiest game to play on, but they're really building tonight. They're really creating great opportunities. As Edmundo said, it's really difficult because they are playing that high line. It's very risky. Of course, Ashlyn Harris has been incredible coming off her line, but I'm a little nervous with that. Other than that, I think they're dominating the game.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to be a combination of how much can you push forward and trying to get that goal that they've been, of course, going after. And defensively, you're playing that flat line. You cannot forget about the defense. You got to keep it tight in the back because, as we know, defensives just win the game.
Both of these teams desperate to find the net. Will we see a goal in the final 45 minutes? Find out on the other side of the break. Second half between Orlando and Houston starts when you come back. Back at Camping World Stadium in downtown Orlando. Thursday night here as we make our National Women's Soccer League debut on BHSN. Entertaining first 45 minutes between the Pride and Dash. Orlando in its first season in the NWSL. Soccer has really taken hold in the Central Florida community. Now 3 teams here with Orlando City, Orlando Pride, and Orlando City B. Team was officially announced in October of last year. About a week later, Alex Morgan and Kaylin Kyle arrived via a trade from Portland. They were the first 2 players. Opening game out in Portland, 2-1 loss to the Thorns. Right now are at the top of the NWSL standings. And then a 3-1 win over Houston in their first ever regular season home game. It drew the largest crowd in league history, 23,403 on hand for that night. And there has been great support from Central Florida for the first year of women's soccer.
It's awesome. It is awesome for women's soccer. I'm so excited about the future of it. It's exciting to be here. You know, they really create a good environment. Of course, a gigantic stadium, so it's not easy to create a good environment, and they're doing a good job. I mean, the fans really feel in it.
And of course, when you have results and you have, you know, games and you're winning, and when you put a good quality product on the field and you start playing good soccer, you're going to see more and more people coming out to watch the team here in Orlando.
I think Alex Morgan helped. She really is really a fan favorite of thousands of little girls here in Orlando, and I think you're starting to see that. That's awesome.
Neither team makes a change as we start the second 45 minutes. So both teams with their starting 11s back out there. You get 3 subs in the NWSL. So those could be used by both coaches here in the second half.
See Orlando trying to find their rhythm, trying to keep the ball. I'm sure Coach Sermani said, hey, we've become successful off a series of 5 and 6 passes. Let's find our rhythm.
And once again, the first 5 minutes of any half are important, especially as you come off, you know, the 15-minute break to get your legs back in. And we talked about the conditions, especially in turf. So getting your touches early in the game, especially now, it's crucial for both teams.
Absolutely. You can see that Edmonds is trying, she pushes up onto the center backs and then she pulls off them and trying to make them make a decision. Typically they don't go with her.
Here's Morgan. Left-footed shot is wide, but an early chance for Orlando, and that came off the deep ball played by Toni Presley.
And you can see that even off balance, that left peg of hers is far more dangerous than her right because she struck that well.
Yeah, you're right. That was a great ball into the space. Morgan does a good job going forward. Off balance, she tried to use that left foot to try to go to the far post, not able to hit it correctly, but nonetheless, once again, a chance for Orlando.
Olympic gold medalist and World Cup champion Alex Morgan soon on her way to Rio with the U.S. national team. Here's Edmonds with great pace getting to that ball near the top corner of the box. Got inside and right to the keeper, Lydia Williams.
Oh, and she had a player wide open there.
Great job once again by Edmonds. She cuts the ball back, and that's kind of a step over, a swing around, and she had a player wide open right on the top of the box.
Yeah,
and
right.
you can tell she was like, hey, I'm wide open, just play it across. And once you know the needs, you got to play the ball diagonally back.
Yeah.
You know, of course, goalkeeper had the near post.
But she did a good job to free herself. Some very technical moves there.
A giveaway daily.
It wasn't an easy ball to manage that would have been played.
Fields with Roquero right behind. Takes it toward the far sideline. Now in the middle of the field, it's Edwards. Ballonge, the right back. Offensive-minded player.
Got a 3v1 over there in that flank space. If they could take advantage of it.
Here's Catley. Good footwork there from Evans. Played down.
Never
Houston
want
will clear it
to
out.
clear that ball into the middle of the field. That is a very dangerous defensive play right there.
It is, and once again, Edwards, Evans, and Edmonds are finally finding that triangle once again. We talked about them in the first half, and you can tell they're finally getting their feet wet in this second half. That was a good ball, but you're right, Denise. You don't want to clear that ball straight down the line, right into the forward's head.
Yeah, very dangerous.
Alex Morgan, more than twice as many shots on goal as Jasmine Spencer. And 2 of those 4 players available as substitutes tonight for Tom Sermani. Spencer, normal starter up top. She is available to come in. Sarah Hagan, who has 9 career goals in the NWSL, also not starting tonight.
Great ball.
It's crossed in, the foot of O'Sullivan off the side netting.
Once again, the importance of that flat line from Orlando. They got to keep an eye on that cross right there. That was O'Sullivan with a great run, great service, as you mentioned. Watch this. Great pace into the box. O'Sullivan gets in front of the 2 defenders and, of course, takes a funny bounce and not able to get her foot on the ball, get around. But once again, Houston Dash with a great chance on goal.
Really great service on the ball, right in front of her. Just the place that she wanted to attack the ball, and I love the effort.
O'Sullivan in her first season playing in the States, 22 years old, from Ireland. 51 caps for the Irish national team.
She's very busy. She is trying to get on the ball. I haven't seen her make a lot of connections in the midfield tonight.
Abogagu and Ballinger has been a lot of fun to watch. Ballinger takes her down from behind. Abogagu immediately in the face of the Orlando City defender.
I love it. Personality between the 2. It's going to be a match the whole game. I think it's just building, so this should be exciting.
Yeah, that was a bad tackle from behind, and she just did not like it, and Josie just was like, whoa, 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 relax there. But once again, you talk about the personality of Abogagu just going forward. She's got that speed again, that great left foot.
What a great reaction from Ballinger. Didn't want any part of messing with Abogagu. No. It will be Andressa to take the free kick. Headed toward the 6, and Presley plays it over the end line.
I actually think that was intentional. She was intentionally trying to hit her to Pollyanna so she can serve it back in, and it did result in a corner, so not a bad set piece.
Ojai sets the ball down. Andressa, who handles most of the corner kicks. A low bullet right into the center of the box, and it'll be a goal kick for Orlando.
Again, I think that was by design, and it was not bad. They almost pulled it off, so they're definitely on the same page for their set pieces.
Yeah, they have a couple of different set pieces. You can tell they're trying, and of course give credit to that to Randy Waldrop, the coach with a lot of experience. He loves to go, especially free kicks, corner kicks, anything around the box. You're going to plan for that, as you mentioned in that last free kick. They were going far post, so that header can be backswing to the near post again.
Got a glimpse of the 21-year-old Brazilian Andressa. She has the only goal Houston scored against Orlando this season. Edmonds looking for a counter. Fields back toward Maddie Evans. Edmonds has it knocked out by Becca Moros. Andressa does a nice job to get that to the foot of Moros. A throw in for Houston. Edmonds frustrated that she is whistled for the foul. Got a hand on the back of Andressa, and the Brazilian went down.
It's a little bit more of a physical game this half. I'm not sure if a little bit tired, a little bit late tackles, or is every team just, realizing this half is a lot. It means a lot for both of them.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say that. As you know, Denise, as you start to get heavy legs, fatigue, a lot of the times you'd rather just go for the foul because you're not going to get there. You're late to a tackle. So you wonder how much of that is just heaviness, legs, or how much is that as, as a plan to try to slow down the play.
Right, or maybe a little desperation. Both these teams need a victory tonight.
Houston, 4 consecutive 1-0 losses. Tom Sermani talked about the high level of play in this league across the board and said if you concede an early goal, that is so difficult to overcome. You don't see a lot of teams in this league have success playing from behind.
Oh, there
Daly,
ball again.
a flag up, offside, as she has got to step on Presley.
And if she just delays her movement a little bit.
A great ball by Andressa, though. She played that ball. You can tell just that nice little dink over the Orlando defense and almost got it through. As you mentioned, if the forward can just slow down just a 1/10 of a second, that would have been on.
Well, that's a dangerous ball for a counterattack here if they can take advantage of it. And they do.
Slow to get up. 3 players forward for Houston. Here comes the fourth. It's Andressa. Got it to her right foot. Good shot is knocked up and over the bar by Harris.
You know, we've been complimenting those 3 midfielders all night for Orlando, but that was definitely a dangerous giveaway, and I liked how Houston took advantage of it. A little slow on the counter, but they got the shot off, and it was a great shot.
Once again, great job by Andressa, just cleaning the field. She goes to her right, drives the ball into the goal, and of course, Ashlyn Harris once again coming up big from Orlando.
I think Ashlyn is always there for them. I mean, she's just been on every ball.
Corner from Andressa.
And again.
Not cleared though, ball still inside the box. Going after it is Poliana. Players trying to get position, got a step on Edwards, and it's knocked out by Presley.
I tell you, I love the ability of Andressa to drive the ball. We've seen it already. And that shot she took from outside and that corner kick again. And watch Poliana's ability to go one-on-one. She goes to the outside, try to cross the ball. Good job by Orlando.
I think she went to shoot. I think she went to shoot that actually. It was dangerous, right? She is a very good player. Technical.
Ohai quickly to Andressa. This is a high ball toward the back post and over the end line.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was the shot because when you shoot the ball from there, it could hit anyone and then it's going to end up in the back of the net. You want to just put your head down and try to strike the ball through.
She struck it well.
Harris directing traffic. Trying to get everyone positioned properly.
They have those center backs really spread out. You really need one of the midfielders to dip down there and help keep possession. It's risky when you lose it in there.
Yeah, good job by Orlando getting out of trouble out of the back. And that's one of the things that we talked to Coach Tom Shermani about. Can we play out of the back, but can we keep the ball going forward and not lose it in transition?
The midfielders just look like a little bit heavy-legged in the second half, so it's not as clean, but I still like what they're trying to do. And there's the delayed run.
Here's Daly. Cuts it back on Presley. 2 number 3s going at it. Presley able to poke it away.
That was dangerous, though. And she finally delayed her movement. That's the second time she's done it in the second opportunity, but she's really gotten dangerous behind that line.
Fields can't get it through the legs of Moros.
And twice, you're right. Twice she's done it, twice she's been on, and I think she's finally catching on. If she can hold on, once again, she's on.
That's played through. Presley giving chase.
Oof.
Shot just wide.
But she has the jump on Presley. She's a quick player.
Kalia Ohai won a national title at North Carolina. First ever draft pick of the Houston Dash. And she has excelled at the highest level of soccer despite being blind in her right eye.
Yeah, that's really interesting that she had to overcome that. But you know, if it's all you know, I suppose that's how your body adjusts to that, right?
Or a patch over her left eye growing up, trying to develop sight with that right eye, but never quite happened. Lots of problems with depth perception, but for her to be able to play at the highest levels is a remarkable testament to her skill.
I think it's a great message for kids everywhere to kind of learn from that.
Poliana to Ohai. Lewis lost it along the touchline. Orlando trying to play quickly. Houston definitely looks a step faster at every level here early in the second half.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that if Orlando's going to get caught up in transition here, Denise, is, you know, they're going forward for Houston. It's a matter of time before they find that right-two combination right in front of the flat back four they're going to get through.
Here goes Alex with that pace, and she's on her left foot. She cuts it back.
Gets it to Fields at the top of the box. Fields delivering a shot off a Houston player and handled by Williams.
I don't know if it was a great shot selection. She was kind of rocked back on her heels and couldn't get the power behind the ball. Perhaps slipping Edmonds would have been a better decision.
Haven't called Morgan Bryan's name much since the early moments of the match. Number 6 for Houston, U.S. national team player.
No, I agree with
Ballon
you.
taken down from behind by Daly, upset with a call.
Daly saying, I got all ball, having to go at the ref. And once again, you can tell she's chasing back, and she actually did get the ball.
But she definitely got her foot as well. Bit of both.
Tony Presley down for Orlando, helped up by referee Marco Vega. And we are going to get our first sub.
You know what, Tony's still getting used to playing the 90 minutes at the professional level, and I think she played a great game. And I think Coach Sermani is going to continue to rely on her, but it's probably smart to make this decision. You know, don't hurt your team by staying in the game too long. I think this was wise.
Absolutely, especially when you're playing a center back right now. You can tell, as you mentioned, she's winded. You know, as you mentioned, you know, it's early in the season as far as, you know, being totally fit, and you know that's a great side for Orlando. It's a good sub.
Laura Alloway, 26-year-old Australian, comes on for Presley.
Loads of experience.
She's been starting most of the year, 8 starts this season. And miscommunication there between Edmonds and Ballon.
Yeah, it's not such a risky sub when you've been playing that much. This is a great decision.
Lots of experience with countrywoman Steph Catley. Both played for Melbourne City FC. Good friendship between a couple Pride defenders. Monica carries it forward for Orlando. To Whitteman, in between 2 defenders, she gets knocked down.
Great movement from Whitteman to sit in between those lines, but
Oleana unable to keep that in along the far sideline. Tom Sermani watching his team give away some possession to Houston here early in the second half. Ojai giving chase. Heavy first touch. That allows Monica to play it. And it's over the end line for an Orlando goal kick.
it was a great ball by Brian Morgan, but she isn't able to. I feel like her strength is linking with her midfielders, getting those quick combination plays in there, and I just feel like they don't have that movement together in the middle.
Houston team that is without Carly Lloyd, reigning FIFA World Player of the Year.
Yeah, that would make a big difference. I'm sure the combination there and there could be quite deadly.
Suffered a sprained MCL actually here in Orlando in the early moments of that match on April 23rd. Steph Catley making a run into the middle and handled by Williams.
And that's the kind of cross you want to create, you want to hit, to be dangerous up front from Orlando. Once again, Denise, they do that triangulation so well. Great through ball into the space. She's able to get there. Early ball to the far post. A little bit too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I would have liked the run to be closer into the goalkeeper as well.
Williams has not been tested nearly as often as Harris.
Good combination there in the middle again.
Fields with space. Evans back to Edmonds. Catley plays it in the air for Morgan. And it's taken away by Morgan Bryan.
Oh, outside of the foot by Morgan Bryan. What a great leading pass.
Terrific ball. It's Ojai who cuts it back against Whitteman for Daly. Coming back is Alloway to defend.
Great job by Houston going forward, and once again, starts with a great ball. She cuts the ball looking for Daly. Good run. And great just defensive shape right there by Holloway, just clearing the ball.
She just had that step on her. Holloway had one step on her.
That's right. That's all you need as a defender, because Daly was coming in with a great chance right inside the 18.
But great counter, Brian Morgan attacking at pace. Hitting that ball at the outside of your foot that far is not easy.
Poliana gives it up, gets it right back.
She's both-footed. Have you seen that? She uses both feet.
That's dangerous. Harris comes out, and a foul called.
Well, Abagagu is not going to slow down. She's going to go for every ball. We're seeing that physicalness between the two of them every time. She didn't back down again.
That is Ballonge, who is down. Helped to her feet by Harris.
I don't know if both of them are going to get out of this game.
Well, that's a good matchup. We talked about Ballonge against Abagagu. They've been going at it the whole game, and
Yeah. That was,
Ballonge got the
was a bit of a
worst
payback,
that. Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Pass a little off target for Whitteman. Ball conceded to Houston. 65th minute and still scoreless between the Pride and the Dash.
I love that effort by Alex Morgan defensively. And did you see how she adjusted her angle so that the center backs couldn't exchange? That's high-level soccer right there.
Yeah, you can tell she's played at the high level because that's something you coach. You know, close that space, force him to go to the outside. She did that just by running at the right angle. And you're right, she did not let the two center backs linked and get that easy out.
Yeah.
Throw in for Moros as Houston has it in the attacking third. O'Sullivan with a giveaway. Fields back defensively for Orlando. Engaged with Moros. Quite a battle along the near touchline and a throw in for the Pride.
The game has slowed down a little bit.
O'Sullivan out wide to Abagagu. She gets it to her left foot. Bryant left free at the edge of the box.
What a ball.
Two Dash players there, neither could get a foot on it.
And her
Once
ability
again.
to hit that right between the two center backs was incredible.
And you talk about Morgan Bryant with her ability to place the ball where she wants it. Once again, we saw her hit the ball with the outside of her right foot. Now she hits it right into the box with a great service that was, and somebody got a yellow here.
That was Poliana, who was behind Whitteman giving chase as Orlando Pride tried to counter.
It was Whitteman's drive inside. It almost forced the foul. It was a smart decision. But just to go back to that service by Morgan Bryant, that was a really high-level service.
Set piece driven to the top of the 18 and cleared by the Dash. O'Sullivan trying to get it to Daly Harris with a high line and another offside call.
Once again, just a step behind. You can tell she tried to do the stutter step right there. Daly just really close. She almost has it figured out, not quite, but she's very dangerous when she's...
You know what? She's touring, though, isn't she? Because Ashlyn is right there. If you don't get the step, she's going to clean up everything. But you're right. That's got to be your 8th offside.
And you know, as a coach, at some point, you got to realize, too, hey, people yell at her, and as a player, you got to realize you're offsides. Take that step up. We're going to have been talking about it all game, especially, you know, when you have more speed than they do.
Jasmine Spencer has come on for Orlando. She replaces Ballonge, so that'll change the shape of the Pride a bit. Houston also making a change with Amber Brooks coming on for Morgan Bryant. So the U.S. national teamer, who we profiled at the top of the broadcast, is done for the night for the Dash.
So do we have Whitteman in the back now at right back for Orlando? And I think it was a good decision. Jose just looked like she was getting tired. You know, that battle wore her down a little bit.
I'm not sure if I would have taken Morgan Bryant out, though. She's been so good on the ball.
Yeah, I don't understand that decision either. But I can understand them looking for a spark. I'm not sure that that's the one I would have gone with.
I would have taken a lot of people out before taking her. She's been on the services, you know, outside of the foot, right side of the foot. I mean, just so precise on her ability to drive the ball handling as well. She doesn't give much at center mid as far as giveaways.
And I haven't seen the other two center midfielders really having an impact on the game. Definitely they're covering ground, but in terms of dangerous on the ball, I haven't seen much.
Edwards to the foot of Evans. Good build-up here for Orlando. Fields with the service. Headed out. Right back to the foot of Evans. Fields tries to go 1v1. Ball on the ground, and it's a corner for the Pride off the foot of Roquero.
I would take that. Opportunity.
Well, good job just being patient, building once again. They were not rushing it. You know, they get a corner out of this, but once again, they got a little bit of time to breathe. We know they're getting tired, heavy legs. So they can take a little bit of the air off the ball here.
Catley's taken the most corners on the team. She's over near the flag with Edmonds. And it will be a left foot in swinger.
Oh.
And a chance at the back post.
Great in-swing ball, dangerous right to Alex Morgan, who always seems to get her head on the ball. I mean, I'd love to see a little of them more headed towards the goal, but she is always there.
Yeah, great ball to the far post. It almost looked like Alex Morgan was a little bit surprised all of a sudden the ball got there quicker than she thought. You could tell she had a defender on, that's what it was. Not able to connect solid with the ball, but once again, as you mentioned, she always figuring out a way to get her head on the ball.
Roquero right there, shadowing Morgan.
It's always difficult to head the ball too when you're moving backwards, when your shoulders are going backwards. It's not an easy ball to head. We've got a lot of speed up top for Orlando.
O'Sullivan unable to maintain possession. Cleared by Edwards. Morgan to the ground and a foul against the dash.
The referee was quick to make that call.
Fields has Edmonds out wide and now opts to go there. Moros defending as Edmonds gets it to her left foot. Nice ball in front, and it's cleared away.
It's a great flick. Did she flick that on to Alex?
She was trying to do that, but what a great service. Whitteman with a left-footed in-swinger to the far post. Good run by Alex Morgan, not able to turn and get a shot off.
Edmonds around O'Sullivan, right back to it in that corner of the box. That one on the ground and at the foot of Amber Brooks.
They definitely seem to have him pinned in here.
And once again, we talked about Edmonds, Evans, and Edwards just going forward, keeping just the pressure up high for Orlando. The last 5 minutes, they want to keep that pressure on and try to get some chances going forward.
Edmonds has been very dangerous this half.
Surprised that she was allowed to carry the ball to the corner of the box and get a left-footed ball toward. Here we go, Morgan. Just enough on that header. Ellie Brush opting to go toward Lydia Williams.
Yeah, it's not an easy decision with Alex on your back, right?
Especially when Alex turns on the Jets and you know she's coming for you.
Oleana cuts it back inside.
Oleana has had a big impact on this game.
Jasmine Spencer defending her, got a piece of it.
Now she's slow in recovery. If they had played it out the other way, I think they could have taken advantage of that in the counter there.
You right center mid, as we call it, you got to have your head on a swivel.
Yep.
Turn and know that the other side is open. She failed to do that, and of course gave the ball away in the middle.
Opportunity lost there.
With less than 20 minutes remaining in the match, every mistake now magnified as both of these teams
Oh, that was a
try to
dangerous
find
foul.
the net. Morgan once again taken to the ground and a yellow card issued.
That's a bad foul from behind, especially Alex Morgan checking to the ball. And of course, Brush just came from behind and just cleaned her right there. That's just, you can tell that she has that intention of, hurting someone from behind. As you know, Alex Morgan didn't know that she was coming, so That's why you get the yellow card.
Yeah. And the ref's doing his job protecting those players. It's a good decision to give her the card.
Morgan to her feet. Good to see that. Houston will make its second change. Cami Privet, 5'8", 23-year-old from Bakersfield, California, comes on for Chioma Abogugu. Privet's a great story. Put down $75 to participate in an open tryout for Houston last year, made the first round of cuts, and eventually earned a spot on the roster.
You gotta love it. Everybody gets a chance, right?
Absolutely.
Off the set piece, Edmonds right at the top with a great shot and a diving save by Lydia Williams.
That is her second attempt from a long-range shot. I love her courage to take those shots from just outside the box, and that was really well struck, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We talked about her ability just to keep possession of the ball, but she just lets one go with a great chance once again.
Jasmine Spencer coming right back, and it'll be a corner for Orlando.
Jasmine Spencer is fresh and fast, so she's hopefully going to be the spark for the Orlando Pride.
Once again, watch this strike from Edmonds. Oh my God, that was top shelf. Had the goalkeeper not been there, that was going to the back of the net.
It was a good save. She held on to the ball as well.
And as you know how difficult it is to get that ball off the bounce, ball was coming towards her. She put her head down, drove the ball, looking for that far post.
Get a glimpse of why Tom Sermani has said that Edmonds has proven to be their best and most consistent player so far this season.
And I think consistency for her is the key word. Denise, you and I have been talking about her ability just to keep the ball going forward. You know, she's part of that trio, Edwards, Evan, and Edmonds going forward. But she does have the ability to drive the ball so clean. As you said earlier, it looks effortless.
She's fit, too. I mean, she's still moving like it's the beginning of the game.
Edmonds nearly to the head of Monica.
She's earned that compliment from Coach Sermani tonight, that's for sure.
And now seen her take a number of set pieces. Team is without Leanne Sanderson, who was tied with Morgan for most goals on the team with 2. Sanderson traded earlier this week. Orlando got an international roster spot. And here's Cami Privet right on and getting involved in the action, one-on-one with Alloway. Harris was there, otherwise Daly had an opportunity to put it away.
I think she had the angle covered again, and the center back was tucked in, so it was, seems again effortless for Ashlyn Harris, doesn't it?
She does it so easy, she does it so well, and here's the thing, she does it time and time again.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's telling the team, look, no matter what, I'll be here, so you do what you gotta do.
You know, you were talking about the loss of Leanne. What a great opportunity, because they're kind of hitting a rhythm and playing well, and now they have this open international spot that they can kind of figure out exactly what their need is at this time of season and take advantage of it.
Whitteman cutting in front of Daly, foul called against Orlando. The Pride will have to go out and acquire a goalkeeper. Ashlyn Harris will leave the team after Sunday's match. Orlando just brought in a backup goalie, but a player with not much experience. So you got to figure Orlando's going to be in the market for a keeper with Pride away for the Olympics.
Yeah, and she does such a good job for them. It's going to be a huge, huge hole to fill while she's gone.
Spencer with a nice first touch.
I think Spencer is one of the most exciting athletes in the entire league. She's so explosive and hard. Hopefully she can be that spark tonight. What a great through ball.
This is Daly, who has put pressure on Orlando all night with her pace. Cut it back to the right. Looking for Ojai.
You know what? Ojai needed to capitalize on that quicker. She took 3 little touches, but that's all it takes for the defenders to recover behind that line and Ashlyn to adjust. If it had been 2 touch, it could have been dangerous.
Well, especially when you're in a breakaway situation, when you get the ball, you got to make a quick decision. If you're going to shoot, put your head down and hit it. And if not, you got to play the ball early. She took, as you mentioned, 2-3 little touches. By then, everybody from Orlando City came back. They had a chance to cover that angle on that shot.
Fields turns it inside to Edmonds. Nice work to elude O'Sullivan. Catley making a run, couldn't control it.
But it's what, almost the 80th minute, and Catley's still making the runs forward. It's what you want out of your outside backs, that consistency.
And not surprising from Catley, who has not left the field at all this season. She's played every minute of every match for Orlando. One of two players who have done that. The other is Monica.
You can see that from both of those players. They're just consistent. The Orlando Pride has not struck too many long balls like that tonight. That's one of 2 or 3 balls that have been hit like that. It's a miss hit.
You're right, and that's one of the things that Toni Presley brings to this team.
Yeah.
We talked about her ability to hit that diagonal ball out of the left fullback position. On the other hand, Laura Holloway tried it.
Morgan inside the box tried to get it to Spencer, who came streaking in.
It was a great ball to Spencer, although it was on her left foot. I still would have liked to see her rifle away.
But you're right, though. Spencer's ability just as an athlete to get breakaway speed and to get open, she's just a great athlete.
Center back's looking for that call, and they got it.
Each team is going to make their final substitution of the match. Houston will bring on Stephanie Oakes, 25-year-old out of San Diego. Kalia Ohai will come off. Ohai will remove the captain's band and hand it over to Oakes.
Ohai has played a good game, but you could see with those 3 little touches that she started to slow down, and you need somebody that's going to speed the game up at this point. So I think it was a smart substitution.
And Orlando brings on Sarah Hagan in favor of Becky Edwards.
I've been a big fan of Sarah Hagan this season. I like her work rate, and I like her ability on the ball. Although I think, did you say Evans came out?
Edwards.
Edwards they've all played really well in the midfield tonight.
Hagan and Spencer, players who have come on, aside from Morgan, talking about the 2 best scorers in terms of what they've done in the NWSL. Hagan has 9 career goals, Spencer has 6.
Wow.
So 2 players who know what it takes to finish out there for the final 10 minutes plus for Orlando.
Let's see if they can be the difference.
And a lot of the times we bring a player really fresh from the bench can make a difference, especially as you talk about making those great runs out of the back. Hagan, in this case for Orlando City, is looking to do so.
Look at Ashlyn, so confident on the ball. She's literally like faking the striker out as she makes a decision. I love it.
Catley, who kind of hides out along that far sideline. I'll allow Monica to take the ball. So, no subs in the first half. Each team has used their full complement here in the second half. We're in the 83rd minute. Houston scoreless in 4 straight games. Orlando hasn't found the net in 3. Both of these teams haven't scored in a month.
Bit of a dangerous square ball in the midfield if they had picked that up.
Yeah, dangerous to play that ball across.
But you know what, without Morgan Bryan, I don't think their counters are going to be as effective, because she's the one that plays that final pass that kills you.
O'Sullivan has shown some quality tonight.
And that's why I was shocked that they took her out. You know, she was playing so well, great balls.
Yeah.
Whitteman chasing Daly. That's toward Harris. And easily scooped up by the Pride keeper.
You can tell Daly's getting fatigued, because that cross right there, she could have taken an extra touch.
Yep.
Denise, I know you looked at it. She could have taken that 1 touch towards the goal and then drive that ball to the far post. So she was getting
sloppy.
fatigued, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you want to just get rid of the ball. That is not the right ball.
No.
Fields carried it wide, thought that Hagan was going that direction as well.
Hagan, who's fresh, I'd like to see some movement out of her. They're a little off balance with the subs. Don't they look a little out of sorts?
You've had players shifting positions around a bit.
Yeah, they're in a 4-4-2 now. They've shifted their shape a little bit. I think they're trying to use Hagen's big frame to lay balls off, and then that next ball getting through to Alex. But
Daly with all kinds of room as Edmond went down, gets inside the box. Ball is knocked to Poliana.
oh,
Privet had a great chance. Ball still not out of danger. And finally it goes over the touchline.
that was about 7 chances in one timing there. There is no way that they should not have capitalized. They are going to want that moment back.
Wow, Poliana right here with a great chance.
Finish it.
Plays that ball across. Privet. Then he comes back once again, and that was the worst right there.
Moros.
Yeah, Moros. The ball just took a, that's a turf, what we call turf bounce. You can tell she didn't quite get that header the right way. And you're right, she would love to have that one back because that was the clearest chance. The goalkeeper, Harris, was down. She dove to the other side, and that was just a clear chance.
Moros is not going to sleep well tonight.
A gift from Houston. Dash could easily be leading 1-0 right now. Instead, we're still scoreless.
And we'll see if these substitutions pay off. I've loved the way they've been playing with 3 in the middle all night, and now they're down to 2, and we're seeing things come a little bit undone.
That all started because Edmonds went to the turf, was unable to get up. That left a gaping hole and all kinds of space for Daly.
But you can kind of see there's too many holes in the midfield right now for Orlando, and Houston has immediately taken, and here we go again if that turns over.
Catley out wide against Poliana.
You gotta admit, Tom Sermani has courage, right, to make that change.
Especially if he's late in the game, he's going all or nothing.
Evans forward for Hagen. Had her back to the goal and lost balance just momentarily. That was enough time for Houston to clear it.
And Hagens now is playing that true number 9 where she went and she's going to post up. You talk about using that frame. She's got the size, so she's going to hold the ball, and wait for a runs out of Orlando so she can lay the ball off.
Daly attacking Whitteman.
I think Houston's found a second win, thinking they have an opportunity now. So it's cramping on the field there. Can you see who's down?
Can't see a number from here, but once again, we talked about the dimensions of this field. We talked about the conditions, the humidity, and every bit of 120 by 80. And when you're running up and down, of course, some of the starters are getting those cramps.
Evans.
She has been running a ton tonight. She has covered so much ground, which that's what makes me nervous going just 2 in there. But it almost looks like a 4 up top at times, right?
Yeah, because that one of the extra midfielders goes up, so now you're playing with 4 rather than 3.
Yeah.
And of course, once again, Denise, if you're going forward, what are you leaving behind? And can you afford to play flat in the back and get counters?
Especially with Poliana coming forward, she's dangerous.
Stephanie Oakes goes down. Foul awarded to the Dash. And this will be a free kick from about 25, 30 yards out.
Good chance here for Andresa. We've seen that right foot. She can drive the ball. Here we see her on the ball. She's been dangerous. She can drive it far post. She can go near post, go direct.
Called Stephanie Oakes back. And it's going to be Oakes that takes it. Right to the foot of Catley.
Not sure why they would do that. Like you said, Andressa's been dangerous all night. Here's a counter, a huge opportunity.
Alex Morgan on the run for Orlando. Moros is there defensively. Morgan with the shot, and it's saved by Lydia Williams.
Alex Morgan with a great chance, but she had Spencer wide open in the far post. Of course, she goes 1-on-1 with the last defender. She never looked up, but on her left, she had Spencer wide open, and of course, her not being a predominantly right-footed player, she was just trying to get that shot, forcing that shot on goal.
But do you think Moros just delayed enough to make her hesitate and say, I'm going to go with Morgan's right foot as opposed to the slice?
Well, you can tell in this
Maybe she earned her night back here.
this different angle right here. You're right. Morris is getting that that edge right there, covering that true ball to Spencer if she would have tried to go far post. But I think she rushed it a little bit. Of course, when you just did a 60-yard sprint and you get there, you have no legs.
No legs.
And you can tell that's what happened to Alex Morgan there on that great breakaway.
I think Moros made up for a lot there, to be honest. If she...
You think that's enough? Because she said she wasn't going to be able to sleep. Maybe she will now.
I think so. I think so. That was a big save.
You're right. Going one-on-one with Alex Morgan and then keeping a clean sheet in the back. And
give her the right foot. It's less dangerous for sure.
Here's a deep ball to Spencer.
Oh, and Spencer is fresh.
Got behind Poliana. Cut it back to her right. Spencer gives it a rip. Just behind it enough to have it go high and over the goal.
And you could see how easy that was for her. Her legs are fresh. She's moving. I think she could have actually beat her and driven to goal and shot.
You're absolutely right. She cuts the ball on Poliana. You can tell Poliana's tired. She could have taken an extra little touch and then square her hips so she could have gone far post in that one. She rushes that, but you're right, totally too easy for her. Spencer fresh off the bench.
Edmonds tracking back to defend Daly. Here is Andressa. Don't want to give her a chance with that right foot.
Still not understanding why Andressa did not take that free kick. She's been great all night at them.
Now with some space, Hagen took a step toward her.
Oh, great ball.
Oaks out wide, here's Poliana. Right at the top of the box, got inside. To the left foot, ball deflected. Shot and a save by Harris.
That was a bike.
Still at the top of the six.
That was incredible.
Houston with numerous opportunities. Oaks knocked down and finally out of trouble. 2 minutes of added time are coming. Andressa on her right foot off the back of a Houston player.
It's still in there. They're still alive, and that was incredible. Was it Daly that biked the ball at the back post?
It was Daly.
I mean, when do you see that in the women's game? That was exciting.
Over the top, O'Sullivan doesn't have enough, just over the bar.
But here's a great part after that bicycle kick as well. Ashleen Harris with a great one-handed save to the far post. Once again, Poliana dribbling one-on-one. She takes a shot,
Look at this.
bicycle kick. Watch this save right there, full extension for Harris, because that was going to be the first goal for Houston.
That was awesome soccer. And I'm sorry, but Houston cannot buy a goal. This is crazy.
Jasmine Spencer coming on for Orlando. Here's Morgan with time. She'll cross it towards Spencer. It gets to Fields. Fields maneuvering to Hagen. Back to Spencer! A goal! Spencer, spectacular for Orlando!
It almost seems unfair. After those quality opportunities, Orlando comes down and puts the game away.
We talked about having the ability to put your chances away. Orlando just did it. Thanks to Spencer, who just came off the bench. Once again, we had a shot on the other side, counterattack on the other one. Great cross by Alex Morgan.
That was amazing. Hagen's ball was great, too.
And that's a great Spencer. She lets it go.
Look at this ball by Hagen. It's a perfect ball right on Spencer's foot. And it's the athleticism that gets her around the ball.
Spencer.
Houston not giving up. They're going to put a final press in here.
Give credit to Tom Sermani, the coach from Orlando. We talked about he was gambling. Well, he gambled the right way, put Spencer in. Great substitutions coming off the bench, and that is the difference in this game so far.
And the target, like you said, she played the true nine, held the ball up.
Houston felt like there was a handball on Edmonds in the box. No whistle. Marco Vega with one final whistle. And Orlando ends a 3-game losing streak in dramatic fashion.
What an exciting end of the game. The whole game was great, but to end that way, that was awesome.
You talk about players who played tremendously great tonight. Edwards, Evan, Edmonds, you know, just what a great job in the middle. Talk about the mileage they put in. And of course, Alex Morgan on top. She ran for 90-plus minutes. She had a great cross in that goal. And of course, Spencer and number 8, Sarah Hagan, who had a great assist in that goal. Great finish.
I would still give the player of the match to Edmonds. I thought she was incredible, and she can't even move. Look at, she's done. She gave everything.
Couple of huge saves by Ashlyn Harris gave Orlando a chance late, and Jasmine Spencer took advantage. Heartbreak for Houston, their 5th consecutive 1-0 loss.
That's harsh.
And of course, you have to give credit once again to Ashlyn Harris, the goalkeeper, who just kept Orlando on and on and on. Great saves, including that save, full extension after that bicycle kick that could have found the back of the net.
You know, Rachel Daly played her guts out, though. She really did. I mean, it's going to be hard to swallow the 5th game 1-0 loss, but some of those girls worked really hard tonight.
A great game tonight here at Camping World Stadium for Eddie Rodriguez, Denise Schulte-Brown, and our entire hardworking BHSN crew, led by producer Chris McCulley and director Bob Herman. Austin Lyons saying so long from Orlando. The Pride end a 3-match losing streak as Jasmine Spencer scores in stoppage time to lift her team to a 1-0 victory over the Houston Dash. Don't forget, we're back with you Sunday, 5 o'clock here at Camping World Stadium for Orlando and Portland. Good night from Central Florida.